Hello, it's Jonathan at the Piano Lesson, and I want to do a quick follow-up to the Christmas song that we were working on, and I also want to talk a little bit about cool ways to deal with minor 7 flat 5 chords, because um, people seem to get confused a lot about diminished and half diminished and the scales that go with them. And there's some subtleties to handling those a little bit. And please excuse me if my voice is not quite what it should be, just kind of getting over cold. But the Christmas song that we did last time. So there is a spot in the lyrics which is not the let's just say it's not it's not a word that we typically would want to use anymore. It's one of those undesirable words used to describe a group of people, and we all know what those words are. And of course, keep in mind this song was written in the 1940s. So one of those words, which I did sing on my first video, and I didn't bleep out, partly due to my lack of self-awareness. And then I finished the video and I thought, I probably shouldn't have done that. So I wrote some new lyrics to update the tune, and I thought it would also be fun if maybe anyone out there listening might want to offer some lyrics of their own to update the tune. So I will show you the area in question. And it's, the lyrics are chestnuts roasting on an open fire, right? And then Jack Frost nipping at your nose, and this part, Yuletide's carols being sung by a choir, and this is it, folks dressed up like blank, 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 right? That word there. All right, I'm going to change that little bit, okay? And let me see what you think of it. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks lined up out Trader Joe's. I think that kind of makes it a bit more contemporary. Now, I have people listening to this from all parts of the world, and I'm not sure if you know what a Trader Joe's is or have one, but it might be the single most popular place to buy food in America. And every day is a holiday at Trader Joe's, but in particular on Christmas. So, what did I say? And folks lined up out Trader Joe's. All right, and now I've just updated Mel Torme's song so that we don't have to use the nasty word anymore. All right, the word incidentally, the proper word in general, one of them I believe is Inuit. So it's a native population in North America. And yeah, and I think it sounds kind of cool, actually. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks lined up out I'm playing the wrong word, wrong notes. Folks lined up at Trader Joe's, everybody knows. And why did I make those mistakes? Because it modulates, and I should know this, I forgot, it modulates from G to G flat. Very interesting. And so we're using this relationship. We're going the notes of the E flat major chord. We're going from E flat to G, and then down to the C minor. And we were talking about some subtleties. We're using some chord substitutions and why we would want to use one chord substitution over another. And one reason is just to have a different sound, right? But another reason is because it's more appropriate for that moment in the song where you either want to emphasize or de-emphasize a particular key center or cadence, and also to provide variety throughout the piece. So let's say you encounter the same chord changes, right, twice, and rather than sounding redundant and boring, you can have two sets of chords and maybe use one set towards the end, let's say where it's more appropriate, where it sounds, it has more finality, and the other set where it has less finality, let's say. So, and one area of that was this area where we were going to the relative minor. See, the sheet music had A minor 7 flat 5. This Yuletide carols being sung by a choir. Now, the one thing I don't like about that is that it just kind of stays on that sound. It goes back to the A minor 7 flat 5. I don't want to hear the same chord twice. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. There's a technique, like there's intros and endings, which I haven't talked a lot about, but there's an ending. So what did I do there? I started on the tritone, we're in E flat. I started on A and went down by half steps. And the kind of chord that I use isn't super duper critical, but the first chord is typically diminished or minor 7 flat 5. Probably not. Could be, but that's diminished. The minor 7 flat 5, because we're in E flat. See, you can have that third there, but we're going down diminished, minor, major in first inversion. Could be something else. Diminished again, or could be dominant, but diminished, dominant, major, 6, or anything you want, really. Right. That's a typical ending, and I just think that chord there is not quite accurate. What I said it was, because they have D flat, C minor. You're going to the relative minor. You can have that chromatic, right? However, towards the end, maybe you want that sound. Although it's been said many times, many ways. And I like G7 there personally. They have A minor 7 flat 5. Oh, but there's your A minor 7 flat 5. Although it's been said many times. E flat in first inversion. Sounds more like an ending. Many ways is ways Mary. I'm changing a lot of the chords here. Although A minor 7 flat 5 has been said. A flat 7, that's a substitution for 5 of G, which is D7. Many times, many. This chord here, G7, C7 sharp 9. Merry Christmas. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. It doesn't matter so much whether you do minor, dominant, minor, dominant, or dominant, 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 dominant. You could use that too. But the one chord there that might be most appropriate, again, that your minor 7 flat 5 towards the end. I might even change it to C minor. So I just kind of like stuck with me a little while. I didn't like the way I left that tune. There's nothing worse than playing a tune and feeling like you really didn't do it justice. You know, there were like certain chords that just fell through the cracks, and they could have been handled a little bit better. And you know, it really can make a big difference with a song. So that's why I say, yeah, you know, get a copy of the sheet music, get several copies of the sheet music. If you can't get the original published sheet music, listen to recordings. I mean, it depends how really serious you are about a particular tune. But even though you may have done all that, you still might need to do some work on it. And it's not because the person who wrote the song didn't know what they were doing necessarily. But, you know, that the whole point of jazz is to have some, you know, flexibility and some autonomy in the tune. You have a say in how you want the song to be. I mean, provided you're doing it in good taste and you're not trying to butcher the thing. You know, you're not just going through blindly like a bull in a china shop. I've never seen a bull in a china shop. I don't think they let a bull in a china shop. But just saying. So that's why. And then I got to thinking about the infamous minor 7 flat 5 chord, and I thought, you know, a lot of people, including myself, don't really quite know how to handle these chords, of these and the scales that go with them. Now, if you read about scales and chords in a textbook, it'll tell you, it'll give you the right answer technically, but not musically. So what do I mean? Okay, well, here's a little trick, right? I'm just going to review for a minute the diminished scales. All right, so the diminished scales, and I'm gonna do it in a particular key, but let's say, what did I do with my? Oh, here it is. The diminished scale in a particular key. So let's just say, yes. Let's do F sharp minor 7 flat 5 to B7. All right. Or tell you what, let's do A minor 7 flat 5, because in this particular instance we're dealing with A minor 7 flat 5 to D7, and ordinarily it would go to G minor, but in some instances it may go to major. It may go to major, and that's a really nice effect. So the scale that we would use, let's see, yeah, I'm thinking of All the Things You Are. Maybe I could write that a little better. What do you think? All the things. I don't think I can write it better. You are. Okay. All the things you are. If we're doing that, not A minor 7 flat 5, not A minor 7, not that. That's the chord. Right. That's the sound. It's really, really pretty. So what scale would be used with that? A minor 7 flat 5. Usually people think of using the half whole scale. I'm stumbling here a little bit, but bear with me. The way to quickly get to a half whole scale is to think of the whole half scale a step below. Okay, so the step below A would be G, G, A, B flat, C, right? And then the next one, D flat. Should we do D flat? I'm going to do C sharp, because just the spellings I don't have to worry about. C sharp. See, this is why I don't. This is what the diminished scale kind of screws everything up. C sharp, D sharp, E. E, and F sharp. I'll get rid of this. All right. So the first, these are two minor tetrachords. So the first lower one and the second one, and that is the diminished scale. We typically associate that scale with like a G diminished chord. In this instance, I'm going to start on the second note of that scale, and I'm going to be playing A minor 7, flat 5. So in this instance, all right? That's the half whole scale if you think of it like that, and A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat. I would have to rewrite it. Should I rewrite it? I don't know. We'll go A, B flat, C, D flat, and then we'll say D sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, and then G. Yeah, that's the half whole diminished scale, right? But it's really the same thing. There's only one diminished scale, okay? That's the point I want to get out, is that there's really only one diminished scale. And the half whole is really a mode of the whole half. This is the whole half, right? And it's these tetrachords that are bound by perfect fourths, okay? Right? The half whole are also tetrachords, but those are bound by diminished fourths. A, B flat, C, D flat. That's why I write it this way. Space line, that's a fourth, but it's a diminished fourth. It almost looks like a major third on the piano, A up to C sharp, but it's not. And again, D sharp, E, F sharp, G. That's also a diminished fourth, right? Because the perfect fourth would be here. And if you take a perfect interval and you lower it a half step, you get a diminished interval. Remember, there's different kinds of intervals, but you take a perfect fourth and you lower it a half step, you get a diminished interval, all right? That's pretty important to know. All right, now let's make music, okay? Enough of this, formula stuff, right? Right, we want to, the thing about the half whole scale is that it sounds best descending, and also you don't want to necessarily use a scale that's the same, that has the same tonic. All right. Let me show you what I mean. Yeah. What did I want to do? My brain's not working for a second. Just hang with me. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is A minor 7, flat 5, and then D, the D7, 2, 5. That's the second half. That's F sharp minor 7, flat 5. So what did I do there? I'm playing a diminished scale. There's the F sharp minor tetrachord. There's the C minor tetrachord. The chord that I care the most about, I'm trying to put this into words, it's a bit gnarly, but I'll get it out. F sharp minor 7, flat 5 to B flat 7, flat 9. It's really more than flat 9. It's flat 9, sharp 9. That's the whole point. There's the sharp 9, flat 9, and there's the flat 5. Right. This is what gives it all that color. And I'm thinking of the B, B7. Did I say B flat? I meant B7. We're in the key, it goes to E major 7. We're in the key of E at that moment in the song. I'm thinking of using the diminished scale, the half-whole diminished scale, on the dominant chord, okay? Not on the minor 7 flat 5 chord. The minor 7 flat 5 chord is really, those are really both the same chord. Okay, I guess that's what I'm trying to get across. And it sounds best when you descend, when you go down. So, that's the sound. Yep. That's the sound. All right, hear how pretty that is? And, yeah. What did I play there? I played all diminished chords on that scale. I played all diminished chords on that scale. Yeah. E major in second inversion. I'm ending on the, I changed the chord. I didn't make it the last chord diminished so that it would sound like it was ending. But this is kind of like a rambling holiday video. And no eggnog to blame it on. But I'll try to hash that out a bit better. Maybe that wasn't the clearest, but I guess what I'm saying is that there's really only one diminished scale, but however you look at it, there's modes of that scale. And then when you apply it, you can apply it in a cadence, but apply it to the dominant chord. Don't apply it to the 2 chord, thinking that because the 2 chord and the 5 chord really are the same thing. They're really the same notes. But what we're going for is we're trying to create a musical phrase, and we're trying to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And scales are sensitive to how we use them, whether we use them in an ascending or descending manner. And that's a huge, huge factor that really never gets discussed. And there are, this is one instance where this particular scale, the half-whole scale, is best used in a descending manner, and it's best used to frame the dominant of the key. We're going in the key of E. I chose a B chord. Okay, so sorry if it's a little complicated. I just, I get that way sometimes. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great, or had a great Christmas, and depending on when you see this, and a Happy New Year. This is Jonathan at the Piano Lesson, and we'll look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.